Alright, Chapter 28, Field Manual 1067-1, Section 2, Chapter 28, Receipt. Preliminary procedure for the term of the things you could do before the receipt of the bulk, patrolling with the outline before the police apply chiefly the tank car over the tanker car vehicle. If you want to check yourself on the tank vehicle, the tank procedure during actual transfer operation, you have the checklist shown in Appendix J. Some of the items of the list, however, do not apply with the tactical Class 3 supply point operation to be, but apply with instead of the terminal operation. See Chapter 6 special information on terminals. Prepare delivery schedule. Prepare delivery schedule to avoid the leave of the interruption of the Class 3 supply point before the product arrives. You have to notify with the type of the amount of the product, approximate date of the time it will arrive. It gives you the time of the plane and receive of the product. Issue inspection and receive the equipment. Inspect pump filters, separate with hose, manifold, valve, fittings so that they are clear and in good working condition. Make sure the storage tanks are clean, free contamination. If you need to clean, prepare storage tank vehicle for the tank car of the check. See Chapter 12 for the details. All inspect for the storage tank. See if there is nothing ullage. Receive the incoming. Should do these things before your transport gets into the supply point. Spot the transport. First thing you need to do with the transport, arrive at the fuel supply point with the position it so that the hose connections can be made. When unloading a number of transporters at the same time, ensure that they are at least 25 feet apart with the dealing with the tanker car. Following procedures to Chapter 11. Check seal with the numbers. After you have the transport in play with the compare with the transport, seal the number with those of the shipping paper to ensure that they have received the right shipping locate the seal with the locks carefully, see that they are signed with the tampering and pilfering. If you find a broken seal lock, notify the proper authority. Prevent use the product until they have been sampled and tested. The transporter has no seal, they must carefully inspect with the product and verify the quality and the quantity. Open manhole and dome containers. When opening a manhole, the tank vehicle with the dome cover tank car stand on the way windward side of the transport, clean all the debris cinders away from them around with the opening right of the safety valve of the vent valve to see if there internal pressure in the tank. If there's no pressure, if there's pressure reduced, rising with the safety valve of the vent valve, with keeping it opening. Take the cover off slowly, let the remaining pressure escape. If you have the tank with the car have the screwed on cover, place a bar between the cover lug with the dome knob and unscrew the cover in 2 complete turns until the vent opens when they are exposed. If you have the tanker car and it has a hinge and bolt dome cover, loosen the nuts enough to let out the pressure inside of the tank. Measuring sample of the product. After you cover the measure of the sample of the product with the transport, gauge the tank with making an API gravity test for the tank of the temperature of the product. Correct the volume with 6 degrees Fahrenheit. According to DA pamphlet 7 to 10.22 for the record of the data. Take the sample, examine the order of the brightness and color and clarity. Look for the cloudy haze, emulsion, droplets of water on the side of the sample container. Also check the accumulated water on the bottom of the container. Cloudy, hazy fuel contain undissolved water. If you sediment with a suspended with foreign material, you know the product is contaminated. Inspect the transporter. Inspect the transporter for the leak through the shell of the bottom outlet of the transporter. Leaking, unload with the fuel at once and play with the container under the leak with the cleanup of any spills. Also ensure the discharge outlet is in condition. The valve may stick with the cold weather because of the water of the tank from the tank may freeze around it. To free a frozen valve, apply a steam and jet with a hot water and hot cloth at the outlet chamber. Tanking the vehicle unloading. The appropriate TM of the specific instruction for the operating of the tank vehicle with the following steps below. When you receive the bulk patrolman in Class 3 supply point from the tank vehicle, ensure the vehicle, the major component of the supply point, are bonded with the grounded plate with the drain tub over the discharge manifold. The tank vehicle does not forget the also need the fire extinguisher for the need of the receiver of the point to ensure the foul all the safety precautions. Connect the suction over the discharge port with the vehicle. Assign someone over the top of the tank with the vehicle to watch the level of the fuel, the product, and the discharge from the vehicle. Ensure the manhole cover the safety stay open during the receipt operation. Do this if the tank shell does not collapse, indicate the failure. Open the discharge valve of the tank vehicle with the suction valve with the section of 350 gallon per minute pumping assembly into the fuel system supply point to start over the pump with an idle at 3 to 5 minutes. Open the manifold valve with the collapsible tank to receive the product with ensure the tanks have enough fuelage to receive the shipment. Ensure that all the other valves between the collapsible tank and the tank vehicle are open. Open the discharge valve with the opening pumping assembly. Increase the speed of the pump to operating speed and continue with the pump speed until you're empty of the tank of the vehicle. Figure 28.1, page 28.5 show this product moving through the fuel system supply point. Idle pump back for about 3 to 5 minutes before you shut off. Shut it off. The close with the discharge vehicle valve with the pump, the manifold valve with the storage tank with the close with the gravity discharge valve with the tank vehicle with the suction valve on the pump. Uncouple the suction hose with the tank vehicle, cover the manhole, cover the disconnect with the binding and grounding equipment, then move the tank vehicle from the receiving point to get ready to unload with the next vehicle. Tanker car unloading through the bottom outlet valve. With unloading of the tanker car from the bottom outlet valve, however, the bottom outlet valve is broken, you do not have the lock necessary for the adapter fitting to unload the tank. Unload the tanker car through the dome. No matter how you load the car, unload the car. Always applicable safety precaution preliminary procedure that discussed previously in the following steps and listed in the Chapter 11. The unloading tanker cars through the bottom outlet. Tanker car unloading through the dome. Perceive the unloading of the tanker car through the dome almost as safe as those of the unloading through the bottom outlet. Your pumps feel the same in the way with the preliminary safety valve of the procedures are the same. The only difference is that you place the suction hose over the dome instead of the connecting engine through the bottom outlet. You must you put in the suction hose through the dome and ensure the touch with the bottom of the tank. Keep the hose below the surface of the product until you finish unloading the tank. Make sure that never to leave air under the pressure of the tank of the car when you're unloading by displacement. When the tank car is almost empty, move the back hose around to withdraw all the products from the car. If possible, remove the bottom outlet cap of the drain of the product from the outlet chamber. Receipt with the product through the assault line hose. Assault line hose is usually connected with the discharge over the 350-gallon pump at the assembly and with the receiver side of the fuel system supply plane shown figure 28-2 with the 28-6 with setup of the assault hose bypass with the receiving the pump. Also, you can connect the assault line hose to 50,000-gallon collapsible tank. With this setup of the C chapter 27 for the facts on how to set up the operator with the display for the assault hose line for the tubs of the below. Receive the bulk petroleum into the fuel system supply point through assault hose line. Ensure the good communication with the upstream of the pumping situation. You must keep it close touch during the hose line operation to prevent accidents that overfill the ruptured tanks. Ensure that you have the ullage and storage tank at the hand with the incoming shipment after you receive the pumping order. If it tells you how much of the product will be delivered into the supply point, check with your pump with the filter separated with the hose manifold fittings, valve fittings. Ensure that they are clean and good working condition. Also ensure the major items of the equipment and supply point are grounded and bonded. Open the manifold valve of the collapsible tank with the receiving product. Make sure that all the other valves between the collapsible tank and the hose line are open. The main line valve of the assault hose line tell up the upstream pumping station that you are ready to receive the product. Open them once the product starts to flow. As some of the crew members walk the length of the hose line to look for leaks of the hose and fitting the valve, transfer the product with the number of the storage tanks. If you have a large shipment to do with this fish, open the manifold valve of the empty of the storage tank with the coach glove of the manifold valve of the tank that has just been filled. Keep doing this until the entire shipment has arrived. Tell the upstream pumping station reduce the flow rate when you have received almost all of the shipment, and when you are filling with less storage of the tank, gradually shut down the hose line. You will keep it in close contact with the pump station as soon as to keep them overfilling and the rupturing of the storage tank. Close all valves of the fuel system supply point after shipping order is complete. Shut off the main valve on the assault hose line. Show the tanker point, receiving the pump filter separator tanks, and then they show the pump and filter separator, and then the bottom load at points of the 500-gallon collapsible drum filling points and nozzles. Assault hose line, receiving the pump and filter separator tanks, and then the pump and filter separator, bottom loading 500-gallon collapsible drum filling points. This one's a U, this one's a rectangle. They're actually both U's, actually. Section 3, storage, and Chapter 28, Field Manual 1067-1, Storage 3. Section 3, storage. Testing, off.